to another edition of the Ride Out Nation radio show. I am T-Mo with a house full of folks this morning.
And I am Lady E.
Good morning to you.
Good morning.
And Top Dollar is on the road again. He's down in Florida.
On the road again?
Yeah, he had a family member that he had to go to
Kamari right now.
So he'll probably call in a little bit. Means. But right now, you got too much going on. Folks visiting with us this morning. Dad, Mom, Jay Greg, and you know what? We got a lot to talk about. So one thing I'm trying to get over is when you came in this morning, you shook my hand, and my hand's still hurting. You hurt me. This brother got a grip. So, Dad, what is he doing? Is he eating cornbread and beans, or is he just going to the gym and work out? Or what is he doing?
He's probably doing just a little bit of both.
He is.
Sometimes I do it myself.
Am I saying your name right? Kamari, right?
Yes, sir, you are.
Okay, Kamari is an upcoming racer, and he's going to be driving on, we don't know what series you're going to be racing in yet. Have you chosen a series that you would like to start in, or are you going to start in?
My plan is to race in F1600, so Formula Ford, other known as.
Formula Ford 1600s.
Yes.
Okay. So what is that class like? What kind of cars are they driving?
So that's like open wheel style cars.
Open wheel style.
Yes.
So in other words, you don't want to do NASCAR. You want to go straight to open. You know, you want to get up there and try to get up there and catch up with Lewis Hamilton, right?
Yeah,
there you go. There you go.
Sir.
That's what I'm talking about. And I don't know if you have heard about him. That when he first got started into Indy cars, and they were running like open wheel cars. Mr. Leonard W. Milley. Have you ever heard about him?
Yes, I have.
Okay, I was going to say, if you haven't, you need to check him out, because he was one of the pioneers of trying to get. Well, he didn't try; he actually did. He wasn't able to race the car himself, but he had to actually go out and get a white driver to drive his car. But he did get his car entered into the Indianapolis 500. So he was one of the ones who, and you probably heard about that too, Jay Greg. Yeah, where he actually had the car that, he entered the car, had a car right there. You just had to get a white driver to drive it. Let's go to the phone lines for 1 minute. Hold on, everybody. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, how you doing?
This is the infamous Russ Top Dollar Jordan, roving correspondent. Good morning, Kamari.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm very good.
Well, okay. Well, have you got any questions that you need to talk to Kamari about this morning?
Oh, no, I just like to congratulate Kamari, and I want to follow him. Only thing I can say is I'd like to definitely keep up with him so I can be out to those races and watch him race.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
You and I, we'll go out there. We can be we could be the stand on the side, run our mouth pit crew,
Yeah, you think you'll let us be on this pit crew? I was going to ask him about that, see if he'd allow us to do that. I don't know what we could do, in our chronological positionings. We might can't bend over too far, but we can hand somebody a lug nut. We can do our best. We could probably lift the tire over the wall, couldn't we, Ty? Yeah, we can get a tire over the wall now.
If pit crews go, we'd probably be too slow for that,
Just don't let us change the tires, right?
Take the tires off the truck or something, and then it by the wall, We might get that done, but I think the rest of it, we'd be a little bit slow for that.
Just a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to ask. What? Say what?
Go ahead.
What I was getting ready to ask him was that you said that you were going to race. What's the class you're going to race in? That you want to race in?
Formula 1600.
Okay. Now, when you do that, let me ask you: when you in your training, are you doing like a lot of simulation time right now? Getting some simulation time. Have you had a chance to actually sit in the car and drive the car, in real time?
No, I have not been able to as of yet, but I have been doing a lot of sim racing with that car and a lot with the IndyCar as well.
In the IndyCars as well. Okay. So how does it feel? Do they have the simulators set up to where you can actually feel the the vibrations and the the pull, the drive, all those things associated with driving the car?
It depends on your setup. Certain rigs and certain wheels, they give you different feelings. So for the one that I have, I've kind of programmed it to make it so I can feel when the car might understeer or oversteer really badly, or if I feel like the setup is not right, I could feel it with my wheel. But there are some simulators where you can feel like everything. Like you can actually feel the car go up and back, and if you crash, you can feel the impact. But those are like millions of dollars.
Is it millions of dollars?
Millions of dollars.
Okay. Well, that's okay then. So that's okay. We don't really care how much it costs, but the thing about it is, though, what we have to do is to go out and get sponsors and let them pay for the car.
Of course.
Mom and Dad, here's the deal. So you're an intricate part of his racing career. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yeah, you have to talk into the mic. It won't.
Yeah.
It won't bite you. Don't be scared.
Okay.
You guys are an intricate part of his racing career, so you know that this sponsorship is going to have to come. And
Yes.
we were talking about that, Jay Greg, as far as racers coming into the business and what's going to happen as far as them getting sponsorship to finance this vehicle you're talking about. So what has to happen in the sense when you first initially start, and how do you seek sponsorship?
Well, that's why we rely on like his mentors. He's
Okay.
been, ever since he started, he's been looking around at people that race right now, and he'll contact them so that he can get some information, because he's been very diligent about trying to find out about sponsorship. So we try to go to all of the racing events as we can. He
Okay.
talks to people and stops by all the different tents and things like that. And he's really amassed, I would say, a good bit of people that
Okay.
will give him advice on how to get started or how to get in and things. And Mr. Lewis was very important in this process, because he's just been, I can't even tell you how awesome he's been to Kamari. Like, he's been so insightful for him and helpful to him, and giving him advice. So we were actually kind of relying on that relationship to grow a little bit more. And I know one of the things was for Kamari to get his competition license. That kind of had to be one of the obstacles, or one of the goals, if you will, milestones for him to reach, so that now he can start that mission on getting sponsorship.
Okay. Now I'm looking at one of these cars. Have you ever had a chance to talk to Bill Lester?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
No, sir.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm sure you know Jay Greg. I'm sure you know Bill. Talked to Bill Lester about racing. He was one of the African Americans who was on the NASCAR scene, and he raced. He was in the truck series in the I think it was, what was the series before Craftsman? Before the Craftsman series, I think it's always been Craftsman.
I think it was Interstate Batteries, if I remember.
It could be, but he was racing for Waste Management.
Right.
He was Waste Management was his sponsor, and I can't remember he was driving. I think a Toyota, I believe at the time.
Yes, he was one of the first drivers to have the Toyota.
Yeah, and driving a Toyota. And
I was gonna say he actually did two Cup Series. The first one he made it. He actually didn't have a good race because of the equipment, and that's been our problems with African Americans.
Yeah,
like we get into the races, but the equipment we're getting is like,
don't have the equipment.
Yeah. So like the sponsorship money that the owners are getting, they were back in the day they were spending the money on like helicopters and boats. So I was one of the first people to complain when I found about it.
Yeah.
So so that was into a part where we had like the new NASCAR University, which is doing better, but I feel like it could open the doors a little bit more. But like I said, Bill Lester, he didn't qualify for the second race, but
yeah.
But we have Bubba Wallace now. So
yeah, we got
he's
Bubba.
Good,
yeah. But see, the thing about it is though, I guess we could probably go back a little bit farther. There were a couple of races, had races before them, but they never got a chance to actually get the notoriety, or they weren't allowed at that point in time to race in some of the major races. But we did have races then we have to go back and just pull up some of those guys.
Yeah.
But you know, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Let me interject one here, Brother T-Moto, Willie T. Ribs.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Forget about him sometimes. He did have quite a bit of success in a couple different racing genres too.
Yeah,
So,
he actually went on to
he
from
did.
trucks. He went on to
Yeah.
race race Indy cars too. Yeah,
Right.
went on to race Indy cars. Yes, he did. And that is true, but you know, I lost my train of thought. But there were several others that were in the field before them that never got a chance to, to get their name explained. And then, we were talking about we were talking about the they didn't have the equipment,
Right.
But you know what? One of the drivers that I have the ultimate respect for and wish that I had a chance to meet him was Wendell Scott, and some of the accomplishments that he made in his racing careers, that how he was able to take what he had, to take what he had and accomplish what he did, because when you look at his stats, he finished in the top 10 several times. He finished in the top 27 times, and then he won a championship that he didn't get the trophy until the next day. So
he actually won a trophy for a race that he never received. His children received it, I believe.
Oh, yeah,
and
that's
it's been
right.
about
Yeah.
4 or 5 years ago. And I hate to say it, but down here in my other home state of Florida is where he won it at.
yeah. And of course, racing at Talladega, the race that almost ended his life but ended his career when he had that wreck. They had that massive wreck at Talladega, which ended his racing career.
I was going to say, I actually have a friend. He's about like 70 in the 70s.
70.
He actually carried the fire suit. They had the blood on it. He
Really?
showed a little picture of it. Yeah.
Okay.
He took a part in that family as well.
And one of the things, and I think it was 2015. In 2015, he was inducted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame up in Charlotte, and I got it. We haven't been back up there. And that's one of the things that Top and I were talking about, is that we initially went up there and saw they had a couple of his artifacts there from him and Bill Lester in the museum up there. But I wanted to go back now because I understand that they have the car. Actually, have the car there that he raced at Talladega that he wrecked, and so I want to get up there again to make sure I see all of that. But okay, that's kind of a little history lesson. But let's get back to you. Just get back to you and find out like what's up with you and how you the preparation is everything.
Yes, sir.
And what we're going to do, if there's anything that we can help do to do that, as far as promoting you, the radio station, our Facebook pages, I do a podcast on Thursday night called Double Clutch Radio. Anything we can do to get your name out there to whereas you can do this, that's what we're pulling for. So you never should have adopted me. So that's what happens, when you adopt somebody. You just adopt them, and now you're stuck with me. So I don't know what to tell you, bruh.
That's the easy part. It's just that pit crew. That's going to be the hard part.
Yeah, that's the part. We still trying to pitch that pitch crew thing on him.
I definitely let you guys come. I mean, I'd love that. That'd be awesome.
But our thoughts are just some of the things you want to do. What I wanted to do is when you got into racing, did you ever race karts?
I did.
You did?
I've done that for about 3 years now.
Okay, so do you have a kart?
I don't have my own personally, but I do indoor and outdoor karting. So I've been
okay. Well,
renting.
See, I need to probably one weekend that we go maybe come get you and take you and let you. I have a kart.
Okay.
And it's kind of like fast, but it's not as fast as I want it to be because I've been working on getting some of my excess arms.
I see what you're saying.
That's all.
No,
That's been making secret calls to me asking for a lighter driver.
Do y'all hear these people? These are the people that love me now. You see how we have fun. So anyway, but anyway, it's coming off. The arms are getting a little. Why you laughing at me, Mom?
I'm still looking at that tummy.
I beg you, never mind. What tummy are you talking about? This tummy is tucked.
The one you're trying to tuck in.
See, these are people, Dad. See, these are people that love me. You check them out, right? But anyway, maybe I might sneak you down to Barnesville and let you scoot around the track in mine and see how fast it'll really go.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see what happens if we can get that done. I don't know if you've ever been down there, but down in you haven't?
No,
down in Barnesville.
No,
Okay.
not yet.
Well, the next race that they have, and Ed White is one of the guys that got me into it. He actually has several carts. He's got a 2-stroke. He's got a 2-stroke. He's got several 4-stroke with the Briggs and Stratton L206 engines on them. Okay. And that's what's on mine. It's a Briggs and Stratton L206 engine, and he races also the 2-strokes, and they have all kinds of neat cars down there. If you go to Ride Out Nation Radio Show, the Facebook page, and look at some of the albums, you'll see some of the cars that they race down there. They have vintage racing, where they have they race vintage cars. They have the dual engine cars. You've probably seen those, J. Greg. Seem to have the dual engines on the wheels that work independently of each other, but they're actually synchronized.
Okay.
And so they're neat cars, man. These guys are got some crazy cars down there that they're racing. So maybe that's one of the places you have. If you go to what is it, Georgia Kart Racing Association website.
Yes, I've been there.
Okay,
yes.
Go there. They'll actually have a schedule of the races that they have down at Barnesville, and maybe go down there and check that out.
Yeah,
go down and check them out.
Definitely.
See what they're doing down there, and we'll see what goes on. Maybe I can slip you down there one day when they have a race or something, let you get mine, and I'll let you drive it.
That'd be great. That'd be very nice.
But just remember, Top, you hear what I told him, right?
I'm listening.
I told him that I let him drive my car.
I'm glad you will, so the car quit calling me at night, It's waking me up saying, please find me a good driver, lighter driver.
Help!
It wants to go faster now. It really does.
I never thought y'all get to see a grown man with tears in his eyes.
Go to Barnesville there, and
it's tears of joy. I can't believe
in that cart, and we could really be a pit crew then. We could once it makes it to the real open wheel cars, we have to resign ourselves to just unload.
Well, see, that's why I told him I'd let him drive my car. See, that was the perk that we needed to have to get us on the pit crew. See, I'm trying to set him up.
The car will have someone that actually keeps their legs inside of the car instead of out.
But that's one of the things, and I was usually most of the guys who are on the NASCAR circuit today and into ARCA and got a couple of guys on the Wheeling East and West Coast. They do the Wheeling series, K&N series on both coasts, on the East and West Coast. Right. And Jesse Wuji is another driver. Jesse Wuji is one. Of course, when you get into NASCAR, the Drive for Diversity program, where Bubba Wallace came out of there, and also Eric Amarola and a couple of other, Daniel Suarez. Yeah. These guys come out of that diversity point, and now they have women who are actually getting into coming out of the program and going into their Brehanna Daniels. Have you ever met Brehanna?
No, I just saw a post about her this morning.
Brehanna Daniels is one of the first African American female that's on a pit crew. She changes tires,
Yes,
and from what I understand, she's very fast. She's very good at what she does. And you know what they do? They on those pit crews, they've got they go to the colleges and go to the athletic programs and get those guys who are, you know, playing football and got strong and lift weights and all that stuff, and work on their speed and things of that nature. Where they, you know, they recruit them for pit crews for NASCAR pit crews.
Yes, sir.
And so that's what's happening. So anyway, is Big Red still on the phone?
Big Red is here, but I don't know anything about racing, so I'm just going to listen in this morning.
Good morning. She told me you were on the line, and we were talking with Kamari this morning. He's into racing and trying to get started into racing, and we just got all into him trying to get on his pit crew and all of that stuff. We'll see if we can get you a spot on there too, Big Red. I don't know what you gonna do, but we'll see.
I'll have to get a cart that goes pretty slow if I'm going to be a racer.
But see,
well, I'm enjoying it. I'm happy to hear the young man driver to be involved in that particular sport. All too few of us are usually in that sort of thing. So all I can tell him is keep going and keep doing his thing.
Thank you. I will. Thank you so much.
Atlanta's Incredible Radio, WIGO-AM 1570. Good morning once again. This is the Ride Out Nation Radio Show. And I got to say good morning to Havana, Cuba, because your friend Carballo is listening to us over there. So he just sent me a message and said they're listening. So we're being listened to in Havana, Cuba this morning. Okay? How about that? Is that awesome?
Yeah,
that's awesome. Okay. So now, getting back to you. Why did you choose Formula 1600?
I chose that because my ultimate goal is definitely to be a Hall of Famer and legend in Formula racing and really just in general in motorsports. But I really want to go to IndyCar, and from a lot of the advice I've gotten from a lot of drivers, that's a really good start, a good starting Formula car.
Okay. So that Formula 1600, that's one of the things. I was kind of looking at one of the websites here to whereas that do a lot of overseas racing in European on European or overseas venues.
Yes.
They do a lot of racing there. So you're kind of like the Formula, like the Formula series. They race all over the world,
right?
And so that's a good thing. So you're gonna be doing a lot of traveling.
That's the plan,
ready? You ready to do that, huh?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay. Well, Top, maybe we can drive the bus for him or do something instead of being on the pit crew.
We can do that. We just gonna be too slow of a pit crew, but we can do that.
Yeah. Maybe we can just drive him around. How about that? That might be a little easier on you, right? Let's go to the phone line. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you? Who are we talking to, and where are you calling from?
This is Wendy, and I am calling from Hampton, Georgia.
Hey, Miss Wendy, you're down in Hampton, Georgia. You down there by the racetrack. So what happens on race day? Do you get to scoot over to the racetrack and watch all the guys, Bubba Wallace Jr. and Chase Elliott and Daniel Suarez and Eric Amarola? Do you get to go over and talk and chat with these guys?
Okay, I have to confess, I'm not really a race car fan.
Oh no!
But
we're not going to dump you though.
I know Greg.
You know Greg? Okay.
I know him and his family very well.
Okay.
From church, and I also know Kamari.
Okay.
So I introduced them.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay.
And his mother told me that he was interested in racing when he was still in high school.
Okay.
I said, I know the perfect guy for him.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Because they're not, well, I don't know a lot of African Americans who are into car racing, just to be honest. And Greg came to my mind immediately, and they hit it off and formed a good mentor-mentee relationship. And I'm just so proud of Kamari and, how he has taken the initiative to really, explore the opportunities in racing. That's his passion, and I'm just so proud of him.
Okay.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you, Miss Wendy.
Well, thanks, Ms. Wendy. Thanks for calling. We appreciate that. Okay, and we're kind of proud of him too, because he's going to let us be on his pit crew. So we're good.
I was listening to that.
Yeah. Shucks, you know we love him because he's going to let us be on his pit crew or drive the bus or something.
That's what we're going to be on.
My husband Sean and I will make it a point to come out and support Kamari.
All right,
really
absolutely,
appreciate
okay.
You know, in a real way.
Yeah.
So, thank you for taking my call. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for calling us. Appreciate it. Okay.
Sure.
All right. So getting back, being on a world tour would be just fantastic, and I know you're ready for this.
I'm very much so ready.
So what's have you had or set a date, or do you have a timeline as to when you want to get this car and get started, get on the track?
Well, like my mom was saying, really the main thing is the sponsorship, but the relationships that I've been building, a lot of crazy things have been coming up. So I really always also rely on that as well, because I feel like with a lot of these successful people, building relationships, that's the biggest thing you can do. That's
a major feat, because you never know who, we always talk about that you never know. You always try to treat people right, because you never know who you might meet in whatever venue they're in, or whatever time, you have to do that. So you put yourself in a position to whereas that, you meet people, and you're starting to meet people, and they can kind of lead and develop, especially people who are in the business, who are kind of well developed in the business, that can kind of help you, get through some of the things, or get over some of the obstacles that they went through to get you past that.
I was actually going to say I actually hooked up with Chris Miles.
Chris Miles.
He's one of the matriarchs in Indy racing.
Mm-hmm.
He was the first broadcaster for Indy.
Chris Miles,
and a TV show. And he also has a race team now.
Uh-huh.
So I definitely connected him to as well.
Okay.
He's connected with Honda, so that's a good power
racing
machine
absolutely.
right there.
Yes, sir. That's so what's your favorite? Do you have just a specific brand that you might want to race? I think. And Top, tell me if I'm in the Grand Prix racing. They have Chevrolets and Hondas, right? It's basically Chevrolets and Hondas on the Indy Grand Prix Indy Series.
On the U.S. scene, yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, on the U.S. scene, but the world scene, you got everything out there, and of course, I'm sure Kamar is very familiar. What we talked about Lewis Hamilton and the domination of the Mercedes out there.
Mercedes,
I would really like to see him in. Of course, maybe by the time he get there, Mercedes won't be dominating. But if he is, I would love to see Kamara in it. That would just be that would be the highlight of my day. I can say I can personally know somebody, or I personally met somebody that actually walked through the ranks and went and did that, and especially an African American. That would be great.
Yeah,
and that would be so great.
Have you ever thought about possibly building your own car?
Oh yeah, that's also another plan. It's kind of what Emerson Fittipaldi did, have his own car. Yeah, that's sort of what I want to do as well.
So when you build this thing, I've actually heard some people say, and I've never understood this, that the only thing they do is go sit in the vehicle and drive. But I said, well, that's crazy. Do you know anything about the car?
Right.
And they say, well, like, not really. I said, well, like, how can you explain to your crew chief if you're having a problem if you don't know what the problem is?
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely. So you have to be an intricate part of that. And as far as building the car, if I was going to build a car, and Jay Greg, I'm sure you'd agree with me. If I was going to build a car, I'd want to know where every nut, bolt, car key, and safety pin and everything else was, down to the intricate design of the paint. I want to know exactly what's going on with it and why it's there and what its function is.
I was gonna say that was Windows Scout all the way years ago.
Yeah, he did that. He had to know every part of that car, and some of the amazing things that he did. He was able to didn't have a pit crew, so he pull into the pit and get out and fix his own car, jump back in and drive, and then finish in the top 10.
Yeah.
Now, how phenomenal is that? I mean, that's absolutely amazing. Yeah. So anyway,
and I'm going to school for mechanical engineering. So,
okay.
Yeah,
where are you going to school?
I just graduated from Atlanta Metropolitan State with my Associates of Science, and now I'm about to transfer to Kennesaw State and finish my mechanical engineering degree.
Well, at Kennesaw State up there, they have
a Formula S8.
Yes, they do. Yeah. They have a team up there. They actually have a car that they built.
Mm-hmm.
They actually build these cars and take them out on the track that I was talking to you about down in Barnesville and other places, and they go down. They do trial runs. I think the last time I was there, they had a race between Clemson, Kennesaw, and I believe Kennesaw won. I think they did, between Clemson, Alabama. I think it was Alabama, was it A&M or University of Alabama, also Clemson, Florida, Miami.
Yes.
I think they were into it, and a couple of other teams that had come, and they were down racing, doing trial runs. What they were doing, they weren't racing in competition; they were actually doing time trials.
Right.
And I think Kennesaw State won because they had as a matter of fact, it was absolutely amazing to see that these guys actually had drivers that were African American. They were black driving these cars. And so I felt good about this. As a matter of fact, if you go to my Ride Out Nation radio show Facebook page, you'll see all those I document. So I'm telling you too, when you get out there and you see me with a camera in my hand, that means that you're being documented.
Yes, sir.
Documenting you, man. Okay. So, but anyway,
well, that's good, Kamar. That's the best we can do because if he's on your pit crew, I'm guaranteed he's gonna take an afternoon nap right while you need it. That's not gonna work too well.
Even if I can't candy nut on the tire, I'll be taking pictures of it. That's all. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I'm okay with the photography.
I'll be doing something constructive.
Like talking.
Well, I do that pretty good sometimes too.
We're good at that too. I'll admit to that. We're good at that.
Anyway, so in other words, what we're telling you that if you need a rivet, pulled or something like that, we can do that.
Okay,
we can do that. We can wire it up. We can wire the car for you too. We can do that.
Okay.
Only when the car is sitting on the grass side of the wall. We're sitting on that side of the wall. We all right. It's sitting on the side of the wall with a racetrack. We're gonna be too slow.
Well, if you know aviation aerodynamics, that's big in this era anyway. The hybrid engines and all that good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. Aerodynamics play a big portion of all racing right now, really.
Yeah.
The different designs of the wings. I've in the past few years in the Formula cars, we've seen some changes in designs of that nose wing.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
And when they're missing that, the car doesn't necessarily handle well at high speed.
No.
You can tell it's missing. Yeah.
Jay Greg, that's one of the things that I saw too, that was one of the things about NASCAR that they were working on changing the designs of the cars, and it's just that wing, the nose wing on the car that they were adjusting it, I think, just a little bit. And I guess the reason they do that when they adjust it changes the downflow or the downflow of the car to keep it down, because these cars are moving so fast. You need something to keep them down on the ground, because if a good gust of wind get up on her, and they'll float anyway.
Yeah,
they'll float on you anyway.
Exactly. I was going to say actually backfired in Atlanta, whereas the tire they were busting and cracking. A lot of drivers crashed.
Yeah.
So that was one of the downfalls.
Okay.
A lot of drivers complained. So there's throughout the season they're making adjustments to the package.
Yeah. And the strict guidelines that they have to go through as far as getting tech inspected, these NASCAR officials, they don't play. And then that's in any race. But then again, when you got a car driving around a track at 200 plus miles per hour, there has to be a tremendous amount of safety involved into that.
Yes.
And so, so many factors in building a car. So many factors.
Yes.
I'm sure you're aware of that. And when you get up to Kennesaw State and get on that program, I see you out there driving for it. and I'm sure Mom and Dad, as far as getting sponsors and stuff, all that's going to come. But that's a tremendous job.
Yes.
It's a tremendous job trying to get somebody to, invest and to believe in you. But once they do that, that means you got to go to work, man.
I'm
You
definitely ready.
got to get busy.
He's ready.
Ready to prove myself.
All right. Well, it's about time for us to roll. We got to get out of here. Thanks to everybody for coming in this morning. It's been fun. Y'all can come back and hang out with me again. We've had a lot of fun. I'm Timo.
And I am Lady E.
Big Red.
Kamari Odom, K.O.King.
And
G-Money Greg Lewis.
G-Money Greg Lewis. We're going to let everybody say their name before we get out of here this morning.
And I'm Dad Kevin Odom.
This Dad Kevin Odom, and
This is Mom. I'm Mill.
Mom Mill. Okay, with that said, have a great Saturday. It's a beautiful day in the ATL. Get out there and enjoy it, everybody. Till next weekend. Bye-bye.